It almost happened again. It almost happened again. What am I talking about? I was thinking about somebody because I hadn't heard from them all year. And then when I heard about them, it was towards the end of their life. This past Saturday, I lost someone who was like a father to me, a second dad to me. It was my godfather. I had been thinking about him. Like I said, I hadn't heard from him all year. And sometimes you just go through life because you think you have time. You're like, I'll reach out later. You have the thought, but you let the thought pass, and I reach out later. I should learn my lesson because the same thing happened to me 10 years ago, and around almost 10 years ago, and I never had the chance to. I never got the chance to reach out to my aunt within the week that I had thoughts of reaching out to her. She was gone by the end of the week. I thank God that I was able to have a chance to see him one last time. I'm glad that I got one last laugh, one last joke, one last look, and I find peace in that he's no longer in pain. Yes, I will have my moments. I've had my moments. And when I see other people whose lives that he's touched have their moments, I join them in that moment. This loss feels very different than any other loss that I've experienced. I've never seen anybody on their way out. Forgive me for the terms and the terminology I'm using. It's just the way I talk. If it feels offensive to anybody that may see this video. But yeah, I've never seen anybody on that side of death, that close to death. So this has been an experience, and it hasn't been easy. And for him to be so young, he was 63, for him to be around my parents' age, it feels very, very different than other deaths. Every death has their own experience, their own journey that I've gone through with each death that I've experienced. But this, I don't have the words for it, but this is, yeah, I can't find the words. It takes some getting used to. To not, like, to physically know he's not here anymore feels different than any other. Yeah. When I started to get into photography again heavily within the last year, he did a Black History gallery of all the older citizens in the city we live. And he said, "You'll be doing this soon." Me? And I just told somebody that he said that to me since his passing. And somebody said, "Yeah, I can see it. And you be good at it. I swear, he trained me. You don't need training." But yeah, this is going to be something to process. We say our final, I guess, goodbyes this weekend. So I ask that you just pray for his immediate family, his children, his blood relatives, his siblings, and our city, because he was a very important person in the city that we live in, Kingston, New York. Yeah, and I miss him. I will miss him. I'm glad that I got to experience his gift, experience him as a person in the intimate way that I did. Tomorrow, Worship Wednesday, and you will see what I was dancing to in the video from last week. Friday, back on hiatus. I gave you a little sample for eating at home with Chef Ref. Still working on some things, and when I get everything straightened out, we're gonna come back in a big way for eating at home with Chef Ref. So you enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your week with daylight in someone else's life, and enjoy the daylight in yours. One last thing, if you are thinking about anybody, as soon as you have the thought, please reach out. I told myself 10 years ago that I would do it, and I let that come up again in my life, and I almost lost the chance. I need to learn from that. And if you don't feel like reaching out to the person because you haven't talked to them in a while and they are on your mind, what I do for me when that happens, say a little prayer, lift them up in prayer. That helps. It may come back. And if you're still scared and if you still don't want to reach out, say a little prayer. for that person, because it helps me, and in some way it'll help them. They may not know you're praying for them, but you are. But if you feel comfortable enough, if you ever thought about somebody, if you think about somebody, pick up the phone, send a message, and call, because you might lose their chance before you know it.